Today's press briefing will be addressed by Honorable Inspector General of Police, Honorable Gregory Okoma. He will speak on a wide range of issues ranging from findings on investigation on recent alleged LNP misconduct or impropriety. He will also be speaking on the road traffic accident that claimed the lives of several persons. On that note, I invite to the podium the Honorable Inspector General of Police, Gregory O.W. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening to all. It is with sad heart that still here today to brief the press first and foremost on a tragic road traffic accident which occurred on Sunday the 27th, 2024, approximately 7:45 p.m. Happened along the Monrovia-Kakata Highway around 7 p.m. And the was a white Toyota bus plated B11663 and a red and gray disabled Mercedes truck plate C31807. The truck was abandoned on the right side of the road with absolutely no devices, no traffic warning signs, and the area was dark, and the bus carrying 19 persons ran into the parked truck that was loaded with timber on its way to Monrovia. As of this evening, we have 12 fatalities and 7 others are still undergoing medical treatment at different centers around the country. The John F. Kennedy Medical Center had 10 victims, 7 of which were pronounced dead, and 3 are still ongoing treatment there. We have people at the Kesseley Health Center in Mount Barclay. There were 4 victims there, out of which 2 were pronounced dead. We have victims at Dusa Medical Facility as well, and the Bakoli Health Center in Kakata. As of yet, the driver just turned himself over to the Curiousburg Police Station, and he's been brought to Central Police Headquarters. Some of the measures that we have put in place to prevent issues as such was, one, to reactivate the highway patrol, to have them along the highway to try to stop some of these defective vehicles from traveling back and forth. The accident occurred around the time where the highway patrol was changing shift. The group on the Monrovia-Kakata highway run a 24-hour shift, and they had come back to town on their way around 15 Gate. That was where they received the information that the accident had happened. And when they got on the scene, they tried to help the victim, to get them to hospital. But we are where we are today. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the family, to all those who have lost loved ones. I think this particular issue has to be taken somewhat differently than how we've normally investigated these tragic accidents, because people are just continuously being reckless. Driving is a privilege, it's not a right. And that's what the law requires for you to have a lot of measures in place before you can put a vehicle on the road. You have to be responsible. We talk about the culture of safety. It's just unfortunate that at this point in time, we're still trying to get all of the details because the driver was just coming in. We had no registration or anything in the truck to inform us as to whether it was insured, whether it was even duly registered by law. So in this case, once we are able to pick up all of the information, we're gonna investigate this as a criminal case, because if you do not have all of those requirements, the vehicle is not roadworthy, you should not put on the road. It's just that someone coming and building a structure on the road that someone runs into and get killed. So this particular issue, we will take it from the criminal standpoint, and people will answer for it. We're also investigating all of our checkpoints along the road where police officers are being assigned. It's our understanding as of now that this truck came from Nimba. So if it is true that this truck did come from Nimba, even if the highway patrol wasn't there, we have a checkpoint in Bond County, the Iron Gate. We have a checkpoint in Salala. So what happened in between there? Who were the officers that encountered this truck to understand whether it was even safe to continue to come to town? So we're looking into all of that, and we keep the public informed as we get more information. But as far as the accident is concerned, that's what we have for now. And the issue of the investigation involving the police officers who were accused of the misconduct with the investors. Initially, when we spoke, we said they were both Vietnamese. Now we have one being identified as a German and the other a Vietnamese. That particular investigation through the professional standards has been concluded, and 122, you're hereby authorized to release the full report to the press so that people can have access to it. But for now, we will go over just the recommendations, because if we decide to read the findings and everything, it will take us a longer time to complete everything. But immediately hereafter, you all will have access to the full report. We'll share PDF copies so that you can go through it and have a detailed understanding about it. I know people are frustrated sometimes when these things happen. Everyone wants to see immediate action. But as a law enforcer, even if we go wrong with our responsibilities, we still have to uphold the laws. So not because an officer carried out an act of misconduct, I would just go ahead and do what everyone else expects to be done because it is obvious. You have to exhaust all of the different measures before you can take an action. The reason why we exhaust the professional standards part of it, which is our own administrative instructions and our own administrative regulation, is because if you breach these things, and we go ahead and fire you on the basis of the breach that you have committed, even if you go to court and you get cleared, you cannot come back and say, oh, the court cleared me, so I must come back to work. But if we do not do that, and we fire you just on the basis of the criminal investigation, if the man goes to court and he gets clear of the criminal investigation, he can run back here and be like, oh, the court cleared me, so I must get reinstated. So the first thing we do is to exhaust the administrative instructions, the administrative regulations, to make sure that, your action is either in line with these documents, or if it goes contrary, then we take an action before we can send you to court. So I will read the recommendation. In view of the aforementioned, the investigation unanimously states that the acts exhibited by ACP Bala and Patrolman Ben constitutes the following as per the Labrador National Police Administrative Instructions on Discipline and Professional Standards and the Disciplinary Regulations of 2016. 1. That ACP SD Bala is dismissed from the services of the Labrador National Police for gross misconduct in violation of Category 1 and 2 offenses, respectively, which are tantamount to the abuse of authority, harassment of civilians, and intimidation, and it violates Section 6.13, 6.119, and 6.4K of the Administrative Instruction on Discipline and Professional Standards as enshrined in the Labrador National Police Disciplinary Regulations of 2016. Chapter 8.1, count C and S, and 8.4, count K, that abuse of authority and harassment of civilians are Category 1 offenses, which are major offenses on the AI and discipline of professional standards and a disciplinary regulation, while intimidation is a Category 2 offense, and the penalties for Category 1 as per Section 1.1221 of the AI on disciplinary procedures and professional standards, as well as the disciplinary regulation of 2016, 12.2, includes dismissal and removal, while Category 2 offenses include reduction in rank and suspension. In a case of such where there's gross embarrassment to the people of Liberia, the government, and the organization, the investigators have decided that they go for the highest penalties on the offense, and that's why the recommendation for dismissal is sustained for Mr. CMD Bala. The same applies. The patrolman Augustine G. Ben is also dismissed from the service based on violation of the same offenses. We have in detail the all of the different offenses, and in this, after careful investigation of all of the breaches, there, it was established that criminality on the part of Patrolman Ben has been fully established. As such, the regulation calls for an immediate information to the Inspector General of Police that criminal proceedings should begin immediately. So Patrolman Ben has been turned over to the Crime Services Division to undergo criminal investigation. And if the investigation sustains the fact that he is charged, he will be filed at the court along with the officer who was previously dismissed as well. So at this point, I would like to stop here. The investigation, the investigative reports are there. They're very clear. All of the details are in it. You can take your time and read it. But if you have any questions based on what has been said here, I will take the questions, and then we can move on from there. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm concerned about.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Mother Kane of OKFM. I'm concerned about the incident complaint. It's been on social media that one of your officers allegedly killed his colleague for chicken foot. Have you got any detailed information? What can you tell us?
So the information that's on social media has great iota of truth in it. The reason why I didn't want to mention it was because we had just put up a statement about it, and we dispatched an investigative team of professional standards and criminal investigators as well, to be joined by the CSD commander in the county and the professional standards commander in the county to conduct a detailed investigation. But yes, a fight did happen between the two officers while they were eating, and in that event, one person sustained injury. When taken to the hospital determined that the injury was it was fatal, the spine injury from the neck being broken as a result of the fight. So we sympathize with the family. We've been able to talk to them. We've been able to dispatch some of the families back to Nima, where they came from, to attend to their loved one in the hospital, and we're making arrangements for the preservation of the body while we continue the conduct of the investigation. But yes, that fight did happen, and there were two police officers who were involved. But as soon as we can get the full details from the investigation, then we're going to give you additional information. But yes, the officer who sustained the injury succumbed to death.
Yes, thank you. Aaron Talon, UFBC. Last week, the accident that took place on the Banabin Caballo, and one of the vehicles was set up. How far is the investigation?
So the accident on the Barnesville Kiba Highway was involving a truck that ran into a bus. The police responded to the scene. The Zone 4 police station responded to the scene to protect lives and property. They were able to protect the driver, they were able to protect the truck, and move the truck onto safety. The police officer had his personal vehicle, which he used to go on the scene, and while he was protecting the life and property of those who were involved, he got affected by the angry mob setting ablaze his vehicle. but there were arrests made. I think we arrested up to 25 persons, and they were all forwarded to court on Saturday as well.
Thank you. My name is Simona Mopolu and I'm for Sky FM. Kind of from the outset of your conversation, you said that there were no road safety signs, something that led to the vehicle to rush into the parking truck. What is you wanting to get after you have already given us what led to the accident?
Well, you still have a lot to investigate. One, you want to know whether the truck was defective. You want to know whether the drivers of the truck were responsible road users. Did they have registration? Did they even have authorization to put that instrument on the road? That's the first and foremost thing, because if you do not have that authorization to put this on the road, then you just endanger the life of other people, because you did not get any certification as to whether it was insured, whether it was registered, whether it was roadworthy, before even putting it on the road. As such, we're going to take that as a criminal investigation, because people will have to start to pay for these things. This is not the 10th time, it's not the 20th time of them happening. Every time it happens, everybody come back at the police. But what about the users? What about those who continue to violate every day? You give them ticket, they will still pay that ticket, come back with the same attitude. It's just a lack of culture of safety. Nobody wants to be responsible. And like I said, driving is a privilege, it's not a right. Here it is now, you got over 12 persons dead. By extension, you understand how many persons' lives have been affected. You got children that breadwinners are born today. You have families that are weeping because, I mean, such short cut off of life from their families. And then every time it becomes, I mean, all of these things, yes, the police will answer for it, but come on, we're doing everything with nothing. Even if we had discovered that truck on the road, the most we would have been able to do probably was to put the little cones and stuff we have there. We don't even have the record or the recovery truck to even be able to pull it off the road, to pull it to safety. And that's why it is important for us to start with the whole vehicle inspection and the roadworthiness aspect of it before we can even register these vehicles to get on the road. So there is a lot of shared responsibility with everyone, from the government side and to the road users as well. So in our investigation, we have to understand all of those things. And I'm not going to just leave it. I want to understand, why do we have these checkpoints? Is it just there for officers to just collect money and anybody pass through? If that truck actually did come from Nimba, that means it passed through Salala. You have police officers of Salala. What were they doing? What was the work? How did the truck pass? So maybe they will tell you, say, oh, we inspected the truck, it was registered, it was insured, it had all the lights, everything in the back. And those are the kind of information we need to verify, because people will be penalized. I mean, from the side, the driver will be prosecuted criminally. And if we've ascertained that truck passed through police points, those officers who were assigned that had a judicial responsibility to ensure that it meets the basic requirement for using the road, they too will have to answer.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. My name is Michael Dyer. I just listened to you giving an overview of some of those accidents. And one reason for which motorcyclists were given some of those safety rules was to limit the issue of accidents.
Yeah.
Now, accident of motorcyclists have been limited. One measure I put in place, taking into consideration that a narrow situation has been created for some of those trucks, buses, and things. One measure.
So we shouldn't just be waiting for these things to happen before we look for measures to put in place. There are sufficient measures in place already. It's what's our responsibility as road users, those who buy vehicle. You're endangering people's life. And when you talk, they say, oh, what are you expecting men to eat? When you see a vehicle that you know is not working, why will you even put it on the road? People will overload the vehicle. It gets broken down to a point where you have no control of removing it. And I know we joke sometimes and say, oh, when you see grass on the road, like, bro, it means that something is broken down. Even to do something as little as that. Something as little as that. So there are sufficient measures in place. The reactivation of the highway patrol is one of those measures to avoid issues of such. All of these checkpoints that they make justification, a checkpoint is not just for crime, it's also for these very measures that we're talking about. So on the part of the road user, there has to be some level of responsibility. And I mean, for crying out loud, we've said here 1,000 times, additional training, logistical support in this event. Like I said, if the highway patrol have come across, maybe the little coons that they have who have saved the day. But how many patrols do you have on that entire length of the road? So we're not gonna cry here for logistics right now. We're gonna to reach out to the citizens to understand their own responsibility. That before you do it, think about the lives of others. Think about it. I mean, even if you get a breakdown, find a way to let there be some indicator. You can't just have a truck breakdown and you just abandon it and cause such an accident. Right now, we understand we're the ones responsible for the safety of people along the road. So we would take the beating, we would take the answer. But we all have to be responsible and play our part. That's why we keep saying that driving is a privilege, it's not a right. Whenever police people are enforcing back and forth, people who are just passengers who want to get to where they want to go, the first thing they don't even understand the idea that you're pushing measure of safety. Everybody would think that it's all about harassment. But here it is today. We have 12 souls going too soon. We are going to continue to be out there, increase our patrols as much as we can, and we'll continue to educate the public. Uh, it's our hope that we will see the need to invest more in the safety in road safety because it is the number one killer. There's no other crime that's killing people more than vehicular accident, and that's why the focus continue. We continue to have all of these small workshops here and there. You basically pay them to even come to sit down to the workshop just to listen to safety tips. We have programs on the radio, different things. So there are different measures that have been put into place. It's my hope that people will just get other as well.
So we'll take the last question.
My name is
From where? Okay.
I want to know what is it you mean I've always found the type of killing and misconduct, or is it because when we see that they were not properly that the character before before?
Well, I mean, you're entitled to your choice of words, but I think for you to just really accuse the police of being fond of killing, and I think that's unfair to us. So while your choice of word is yours, I will definitely differ with you on the fact that police are just out there to kill people. We're there to protect lives and property. The issue of misconduct, I mean, the thing about it is we increase our accountability. The reason why you hear about it more often is because whenever these things come about, we take action and we communicate it to the public, and that's why people are aware of it. We're not out there to kill, contrary to what you think or what you believe. We're there to protect lives and property. In the protection thereof, sometimes do things go wrong? Yes, things do go wrong, but we do investigate and we're accountable to the public.
I
Thank
saw
you.
here.
Yeah,
Last
so,
thing.
Yeah, Nelson.
Nelson Cascon.
Yeah.
IG with the recent dismissal, following everything that's happening with respect to the officers, what's the message? What is that strong message that maybe you intend to set out there so as to avoid the reoccurrence of such?
Well, Nelson, we will continue to be accountable to the public at all levels. We cannot control the individual attitude of each and every officer. But one thing we can promise the public is that every time a misconduct happens, we'll make sure we investigate it, we take the appropriate action to avoid future reoccurrences. We have in this year request the government through the budget. We are asking for increase in training. So it's our hope that we will be able to do more in-service training and we'll be able to even recruit additional officers to help to improve police presence. But the one promise I can make here is that every time I stand here to give report about things that happen, there will be absolutely no cover-ups. We will speak the truth just as it is. People may not like it, people may not understand it, but these are our findings, and the least I can do is to be honest about what we say here. Because look, it's extremely difficult to cover up a lie. If you cover up one, it never stops because you need another lie to cover up, and it's just going to keep compounding. And it's extremely difficult. I don't have the strength for that. I think the least I can do, is to always be truthful about whatever we're involved in. And we will be accountable. I don't care. Sometimes when you say, look, oh, when you explain like that, it destroys the image. The thing is, we're trying to build trust. If we start to lie and cover up stuff, the trust would never be built. Then we're defeating our own purpose. We're undermining the efforts that we're making in building trust and legitimacy with the people. So even if it seems like being very transparent and accountable is destroying the image, then so be it. But we will be truthful about these things and hope that we're going to be able to address it with training and increase the accountability. Thank you.
Well, on that note, this is how we bring this press conference to an end. The IG will retire. The PPA office is always available, accessible for clarity or any information. Thank you, Chief, for coming. Yes, I know.
Well, folks, that's how we end up this very important press conference here today by the Liberian National Police. Thanks for watching Spoon